Is John Cena's WWE heel run now finished, with the never-seen 17-time WWE World Champion seemingly turning babyface last night on SmackDown prior to defending his WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes this weekend at SummerSlam? Triple H publicly comments on Vince McMahon's allegations that saw the former WWE chairman resign from the company. We have the ratings for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite, as well as Thursday's edition of AEW Collision. MJF wins the World Light Heavyweight Championship in CMLL. Jelly Roll delivers a choke slam to a security guard on SmackDown. Tala Tonga makes his WWE in-ring debut. Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown debut on SmackDown, but don't win the AAA Tag Team titles. WWE reportedly feared Hulk Hogan tributes on Raw and NXT would be booed this week. Julia defeats Zelina Vega to retain the Women's United States Championship. We have the first ever Men's WWE ID Champion as well as the Women's WWE ID Champion. WWE Speed has reportedly been cancelled. Becky Lynch is reportedly set to receive a new WWE theme song soon. And backstage reaction to Corey Graves replacing Pat McAfee on Raw is revealed. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with a possible babyface turn for the heel 17-time WWE champion John Cena last night on SmackDown. The question is, was it a real face turn or is it part of a wider storyline? Now, there were major signs of the heel John Cena run being over during last night's WWE SmackDown ahead of SummerSlam in New Jersey this weekend. Last week, Cody Rhodes physically forced John Cena to sign a contract for a WWE Championship street fight at SummerSlam after Cena attempted to back out of their match. Since Elimination Chamber in early March, John Cena has been playing a heel after aligning with The Rock and Travis Scott that night to attack Cody Rhodes. After that, aside from Scott's widely criticised WrestleMania appearance, neither Rock nor Scott have been involved in Cena's heel run, and there has been a lack of explanation regarding the original heel turn and Cena's relationship with Rock and Scott. Last night, a week after the aforementioned forced contract signing, Cena thanked Cody Rhodes for last week, saying it was the kick in the ass he needed to get his retirement run back on track. Addressing the initial heel turn, Cena said, quote, "I signed up for someone's idea to do shocking TV, and then the people that were supposed to be on my team left, and they left me alone pretending to be something I'm not." He then declared he wants to leave WWE as champion, but not because he wants to ruin wrestling, because he loves wrestling and he doesn't want the fans to forget him when he's gone. Cena added, quote, "August 1st, 2025, Newark, New Jersey, the day John Cena came back to the WWE." Cena and Rhodes then shared a drink as Rhodes, appearing to be a bit hesitant about the whole situation, welcomed the real John Cena back. Now, unless it's all a ruse and Cena reverts back to his heel tactics at SummerSlam Night 2 on Sunday, it would appear for now the heel run is over. The question is, do you think it's over? Do you think it's all a ruse? Let me know your reaction, your thoughts, your perception of it all in the comments section below. Now, Triple H, he's commented publicly on Vince McMahon and the allegations against the former WWE CEO. Now, Janelle Grant, a former WWE employee, filed a lawsuit in January 2024 against Vince McMahon, WWE, and John Laurinaitis. The lawsuit accuses McMahon of sexual assault and sex trafficking. McMahon resigned from TKO/WWE following the lawsuit being filed. Paul Levesque, also known as Triple H, assumed all creative duties as Chief Content Officer following McMahon's resignation. Speaking on the Sports Agents podcast, Triple H was asked about the allegations and how WWE dealt with the fallout of it. Here's what the game had to say.
And the challenges were that inevitably in the last year, serious allegations of sexual assault and trafficking levied at Vince, which he's always denied. But nevertheless, how did you deal with the fallout of all that? Because they were allegations.
Sure. And all we can do is move forward. For us as a company, creative, all we can do is move forward. And allegations are allegations, right? It's a complicated relationship for anybody in life. Nobody is perfect. But accusations are made, and that's a whole legal thing that is totally separate and aside from what we do. My job is to put on the best creative product that WWE can do. And, luckily and happily, it's been successful and it's been working wonderfully. Business is in an incredible place right now and continuing to grow, especially with our partners at Netflix and NBC and CW and and everyone in between. It's a wonderful time in our business, and fans are enjoying it. So we're headed in a good direction.
Now, when it comes to the lawsuit, Laurinaitis has since been dropped from it, but it remains active against McMahon and WWE. Now, let's talk about the ratings for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite. The third and final episode of AEW Dynamite to take place at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, Illinois, took place on July 30th, and it was the most loaded show AEW had produced during their residency up until that point. The Young Bucks advanced in the AEW Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament. Athena and Billy Starks picked up a huge victory over Alex Windsor and the AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm. And in a rematch from their encounter at AEW All in Texas, Hangman Adam Page successfully defended the AEW World Championship against Jon Moxley. With all of this action, AEW were clearly looking to make a big splash in the TV ratings, and according to both WrestleNomics and the Programming Insider, the effort paid off to somewhat of a certain extent, but maybe not all that much. The July 30th episode of Dynamite averaged a total of 612,000 viewers, a 1% increase on the 608,000 viewers the July 23rd episode earned, and another 1% increase on the trailing 4-week average that currently sits at 604,000 viewers, with all of these figures, of course, not including the people who stream the show also simulcast on HBO Max. There was also movement in the 18 to 49 demographic as Dynamite posted a 0.15 number, a 7% increase on the 0.14 number that was posed a week earlier, bringing it back in line with the trailing 4-week average of a 0.15. In terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics, so shout out to them and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. This rating was enough to have Dynamite rank 5th for the night in its time slot in the cable rankings, with the Programming Insider placing Dynamite 7th overall when including shows that aired after 10 p.m. Eastern, meaning that Dynamite was beaten by all 3 hours of news coverage on Fox News, the WNBA game between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty, the SportsCenter Prime coverage that aired after the NWA, and a repeat episode of Family Guy. We also have the ratings for Thursday's episode of AEW Collision this week. Thursday night's episode of AEW Collision averaged 409,000 viewers on TNT, which is up over 25% from last week's Saturday night show and up 26.6% from the previous Thursday airing on July 10th. This marks the best audience total for the show since June 22nd. Collision drew a 0.10 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. That's up 25% from last week and 42.9% from the last time the show aired on a Thursday. It ties the highest rating Collision has done in the demo since May 29th. The show went head-to-head with the NFL's annual Hall of Fame preseason game, which would have expected to dominate the night, although ratings are not currently known for that, as compared to the same week in 2024 when the show aired in its regular time slot, but drew a near record low due to going head-to-head with WWE SummerSlam. Collision's overall viewership was at 116.4%, while the 18 to 49 rating was up 25%. This year's numbers, of course, do not include data from the HBO Max simulcast, or the increases possibly would have been even greater. MJF, he has won gold outside of AEW. MJF won his first title in CMLL against Averno on August 1st, 2025 on an edition of CMLL Vernay's Espectacular in Arena, Mexico. MJF has got yet another accolade to his name. Headlining the August 1st edition of the show was Averno defending his CMLL World Light Heavyweight title against AEW's MJF. After a tough battle between the two superheels and their respective companies, MJF ended up outlasting Averno by shattering his knee with a half crab and winning the title. This is MJF's 14th singles title reign of his career, his first title with CMLL, and his first light heavyweight title win of his career. Averno held the belt for 491 days and made 5 title defenses in his first and only title reign with the belt. Not only does, of course, MJF now have this title in his possession, he also has a guaranteed contract for an AEW World Championship that he can make effective at any time of his choosing, of course, after winning the Casino Gauntlet match at All in Texas. Jelly Roll once again got physical last night on SmackDown ahead of his in-ring debut at SummerSlam. Jelly Roll and Randy Orton brawled with Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre to close the final episode of SmackDown before SummerSlam. In the ring, Logan began by stating that they are trying to defend WWE from outsiders, that Jelly thought SummerSlam was a big hot dog eating contest. Quote, "Me and Drew have dedicated our whole lives to this. I'm of these outsiders using WWE as a stepping stone, thinking they can take WWE to the next level. That is basically impossible unless you're Logan Paul." Paul once again called Jelly an outsider who will never belong in WWE. McIntyre said, "Whatever happens to Smelly Hole is on Orton." McIntyre referenced Jelly's song, that where he only talks to God when he needs a favor. "How selfish. I have God on speed dial, and when I pray, bad things happen." Jelly and Orton finally rolled up backstage and made their way to the ring. A brawl began, but security quickly broke things up. After the two sides were separated, Orton hit an RKO to two security guards before Jelly delivered another chokeslam to another. Earlier in the show, footage was shown of McIntyre and Paul crashing a training session involving Jelly and attacking him. Of course, they will face off at SummerSlam this weekend. Tala Tonga made his WWE in-ring debut last night, defeating Jimmy Uso. Jimmy went for a top rope splash, but Tala grabbed him by the throat, standing up and then delivering a chokeslam for the victory. After the match, Solo Sikoa, Tala, JC Mateo and Tonga Loa were going to attack Jimmy as the cage lowered. Jacob Fatu, though, made the save before the cage came all the way down. Tala and Sikoa bailed out of the door, leaving Fatu to take out Loa and JC. Tala, of course, is the former Hikuleu. He made his main roster debut at WWE Night of Champions, helping Solo Sikoa win the United States Championship from Jacob Fatu. He was signed to WWE in 2022, finishing with New Japan Pro Wrestling in June of last year, but didn't wrestle for over a year before competing in a dark match on June 13th. Of course, Jacob Fatu will take on Solo Sikoa inside of a steel cage for the WWE United States Championship this Sunday at SummerSlam Night 2. We saw AAA influence last night on SmackDown. Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown made their main roster debut on SmackDown, answering the open challenge by Los Garza for the AAA Tag Team Championships. Despite the crowd being behind Iguana and his pet La Yesca and Psycho, the AAA regulars came up short in their quest for gold. Los Garza won after hitting the MTY on Psycho Clown. This was the WWE main roster debut for Iguana and Psycho Clown. Independent promotion Lucha Libre and Chihuahua announced on Friday afternoon that the AAA stars were pulled from their show as they were called by WWE. Of course, they did compete in the WWE and AAA Worlds Collide show and also at WWE live events in Mexico. Of course, AAA owned by WWE and TKO. Now, of course, this past week has seen several tributes from WWE to the late Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's death prompted several debates as it has tributes, leaving WWE reportedly fearful that their recent tributes to Hogan on Raw and NXT could be booed. Despite his achievements in the ring and for being one of the most famous pro wrestlers of all time, Hogan's legacy, of course, will always be a complicated one due to past racist comments, exacerbated by a lack of a heartfelt apology to some, as well as complicated political ties. Still, WWE wanted to honor the man who put the company on the map in the 1980s, airing tributes on Raw, NXT, and SmackDown to Hogan. Writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer noted how WWE were fearful that a Raw crowd in Detroit could boo tributes to Hogan. Now, WWE are believed to have gone as far as to lower the crowd mics on Raw to combat any potential backlash, but it was noted that the Detroit crowd were respectful as tributes to Hogan aired. It was also noted that there were fears that the crowd in NXT in Orlando, Florida could also turn on any Hogan tributes, but again, there were no such scenes. Julia is still the Women's United States Champion, retaining her title last night on SmackDown. It might not have been the SummerSlam match she wanted, but Julia has now officially defended her Women's United States Championship for the first time. The Beautiful Madness took to Friday's episode of SmackDown to defend her title against former champion Zelina Vega. Julia, who was accompanied by the recently returned Kiana James, began the match by evading some roll-up attempts from Vega, with the champion showing off her technical expertise to maintain an edge over the challenger as the two locked up with grapples and reversals. Julia delivered some chops, which were followed by a series of headbutts to continue putting pressure on the challenger. Vega wrenched her face in pain as Julia locked her in a cradling crossface in the match's second act. Julia's dominance, however, was briefly curbed by a series of slams from Vega, which offense opened the door for Vega to deliver a avalanche German suplex for a near fall. Julia responded with a butterfly suplex from the top before following up with an arrivederci knee, but shock rang out through the crowd when Vega, after all the offense, still managed to kick out of what looked to be Julia's match-ending sit-out Michinoku driver. After a brief panic, Julia recollected herself enough to Northern Lights bomb Vega for the victory. With her victory, Julia is set to continue her reign as the Women's United States Champion, which currently sits at 36 days. Now, we saw new champions being crowned on the Indies, but also related to WWE this past weekend. Cappuccino Jones made history at GCW Presents WWE ID, becoming the first ever WWE ID Men's Champion. Jones defeated Jack Cartwheel in the finals of the men's WWE ID tournament. The finish saw Jones hit the shot of espresso, followed by the decaffeinator for the victory. ID championships are open to be defended against all independent talents. If a non-ID talents win the title, they will be signed to a WWE Independent Development contract. Jones and Cartwheel are a regular team on WWE Evolve. It wasn't just a men's champion that was crowned, it was also the first ever WWE Women's ID champion. Kylie Ray made history at GCW Presents WWE ID Showcase, becoming the first ever WWE ID Women's champion. Ray defeated Zeta Steele and Zara Sakia in a triple threat match. The finish saw Ray submit Steele with a crossface, with Sakia being a moment too late to make the save. Ray had a stunned look on her face after the bell rang before wearing her trademark smile. Now, as I mentioned, these ID championships are open to be defended against all independent talents. If a non-ID talent win the title, they get that developmental contract. Bit of an update here when it comes to WWE Speed. If you enjoyed the show, you might not be able to watch it anymore. If you happen to be a fan of wrestling matches that are specifically under 3 minutes long, yesterday brought you some bad news. WWE Speed has been quietly cancelled, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave Meltzer noted that the show has not been mentioned on screen or across social media over the last few weeks, and no new matches have been taped since early July. Meltzer speculated that the deal between WWE and the social media platform expired, and nobody within WWE felt that Speed was important enough to warrant an announcement over its cancellation. Still, there's no official word on the show's fate yet, and it could end up returning either on X or with another partner. Speed began streaming in March 2024, featuring Corey Graves handling commentary duty on his own. Each match could have been set for free on X, with either 3 or 5 minute time limits depending on whether it was a title match or not. 2 championships were eventually created specific to the brand, with the titles currently held by El Grande Americano and Sol Ruca, as nothing has been vacated yet. Former Speed champions also include Candice LeRae, Dragon Lee Andrade, and Ricochet. The last Speed match to date, featuring Sol Ruca defending her title against Alba Fire, was taped on July 8th and streamed online the following day. Before last month, new installments of Speed had been posted twice a week, with standard 3-minute matches shown on Wednesday, followed by the longer title matches on Friday. It looks like Becky Lynch could be getting a brand new entrance theme on WWE television. Becky Lynch posted a teaser on her Instagram story this week, of which Fightful Select has confirmed has big implications for the man. She's expected to get a new theme song imminently. The band The Wonder Years completed a theme for Becky Lynch a number of months ago, and the wheels haven't been in motion for her to use it on WWE television. This is Becky Lynch, and she's had the same theme song for quite some time, and was somehow able to leap past Def Rebel. This will be her first time using full-on lyrics in the song. The theme she's been using, Celtic Invasion, lasted about 10 years and was produced by CFO. The new theme has a The Man Has Come Around intro in the original cut. Maybe we'll see that at SummerSlam this weekend. And finally, reaction to Corey Graves replacing Pat McAfee on Raw. Corey Graves is back in the fold at WWE Raw in the commentary booth as Pat McAfee is taking time off. McAfee cited burnout, noting that he was eyeing the start of the college football season. When Corey Graves publicly noted his frustration regarding being sent down to NXT earlier this year, a WWE higher-up, according to Fightful, sympathized with him. One source, according to Fightful Select, said Graves' versatility was a gift and a curse because WWE knew he could be slotted in anywhere, on any show, and make things work. Even then, a WWE higher-up told Fightful they expected him to be back on Raw or SmackDown by spring or summer because of the revolving door on commentary. McAfee reportedly is well liked within WWE circles and is said to always approach the work there with respect. WWE sources said they expect the relationship between the two sides to continue and will likely see him back again. They just don't know how of a regular role it will be. Those that Fightful spoke to in WWE already expected to lose Pat McAfee around August or September, whether planned or not, as they understood football season was big for he and his team. Of course, if we get any more details on McAfee's future, we'll let you know in an upcoming video. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. You can see right there we're just 12 subscribers away from 23,500 on that road to 25k. A reminder, we'll be live for both nights of WWE SummerSlam this weekend. Of course, beginning tonight, we'll be live for night 1 with a watch long and then a post show once SummerSlam ends. In addition, we'll be live tomorrow night for night 2, SummerSlam Sunday, a watch long and a post show. We'll also be live for the Raw after SummerSlam with a watch long and a post show there as well. Appreciate everyone for tuning in as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.